Good afternoon. Happy Saturday, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and I am here with Savage Saturday Comic Review, episode 63. And today I think I'm bringing you a treat. And that treat is an adaptation of an Andrew J. Offutt story called Conan and the Sorcerer. And this was based on his first pastiche work. And as we know, the pastiches of Conan the Barbarian, written by so many different authors, starting out with L. Brock de Camp and Lynn Carter, and then going on to like Roland Green and Leonard Carpenter, Steve Perry, many other people, to various successes. Robert Jordan was one of the successes that people really enjoyed. I found his novels hit or miss, certain parts of them with the way he characterized certain things, but certainly a good author. I just didn't think his voice necessarily always fit Conan. Some of his I liked a lot, some I thought were a bit off, but one of the authors I thought was really great, and one that's held in high regard for Conan pastiches is Andrew J. Offutt, who did a trio of pulp novels back in the day, published in 1978, 1979, and 1980. And that was, he did Conan the Sorcerer, which is something we're going to talk about today. All right, then The Sword of Skelos, with a nice fold-out cover. And then, of course, Conan the Mercenary. And these three pulp novels are considered some of the best pastiches written out there, and they really are. If you're a Robert E. Howard reader and you're reading the Andrew J. Offutt, they're very nice. They really keep Conan in character. They keep him reactionary, savage, but they also keep him with the intuitive brains that he has to read the situations, to think himself out of things, and to think ahead. Conan is not just a savage. Conan has a sharp, keen intellect, and he's good at observing his surroundings and making quick decisions as well. And that author, Andrew J. Offutt, does a great job of capturing it. Now, The Savage Sword of Conan, the black and white magazine, adapted Conan and the Sorcerer in issues 53, 54, and 55. So what we're going to do for the next three Savage Saturday comic reviews is we're going to review all three parts of this adaptation. So we're going to cover part one today of issue number 53 of Savage Sword of Conan. Of course, this had three different parts to it. It had a little Roy Thomas middle section, and it had a Solomon Kane story in the back. We are only concerning ourselves with the Conan story for this Savage Saturday comic review. But let's get into it. First of all, though, we have a great frontispiece by Pat Broderick, who was just all over the place back in the day, just doing great work on all sorts of books. And this is an adaptation written by Roy Thomas. And I say written. The thing about Roy Thomas and adaptations is he kept as much of the script and the dialogue and the descriptions as he could in his adaptations from the authors. I've read the book. I've read this. This reads almost word for word for what Andrew J. Offutt put down, with Roy Thomas adeptly only adjusting what he needed to adjust to make the story fit the printed page. So it's a fine art, adaptations, in my opinion, and people either nail them or they mess them up completely. And Roy Thomas is, in my opinion, the best person to adapt storylines, at least where Conan the Barbarian is concerned. All right, and inside we had John Buscema art and Rudy Nebres on the inking job. And so we start out, and Conan is in the mall in Zamora, the city of thieves. Now, the mall is the place where all the bad hang out. The thieves, the murderers, the cutthroats, the whatever you have. The Lotus dealers, they're all there in the mall. And Conan is making his way through. He's assessing the situation. And he is trying to skip the mall for the night. Now, he has just come from performing a trio of jobs. He stole two different things, and then he stole a third thing, which he was hired to steal, and returned it to a guy for a sum. So he's got a fat bag of coins right now that he wants to spend. And the mall is a place where if someone's passing through it, a wealth, they cover themselves up to not show what they have for jewels. And you got the drunks, you got the prostitution, and you got people laying in alleys seemingly dead, and people don't know if they're there to because they need help and they are lying there dying, or if they go to help them, if they're going to spring up and it's a trap, and then they're the ones that die. So more often than not, if someone's laying in an alley, they're left there regardless of what's going on, because the situation cannot be trusted. So this is the part that Conan's making his way through. But he's got enough coin that he's going to go uptown and in Erringen, and he's going to check out one of the more upper class bars, so to speak. So you got Conan making his way through the mall, and then over here you got him entering the bar in Erringen and looking for a little bit of a classier night out, although he's not going to find it, because our barbarian, if nothing else, knows how to find trouble. And right away, the innkeeper's like, "You there? We do not allow swords in here." And Conan's like, "I'm a bodyguard. My master will be along soon. I'll just keep it, all right." With the threat of menace in his tone, like, you can try to take it, but it'll be in you. All right. So Conan, as he is, he's eating, he's drinking his wine, and he is befriended by the woman here. And Conan's enjoying the attention. He's trying to explain himself to him. He's talking about his past a little bit. He's still a bit young, kind of bragging about his feats so far. And, of course, ever being a ladies' man, Conan's hand is wandering as she's trying to seduce him, because she sees he's got a lot of coin with him. Some gold, some silver. She wants a little bit of it. But, as happens, the city guard comes in, only to find out that the woman that's with him right now is the woman of the city guard. And all of a sudden we have a tense situation, right? And the guard asks Conan, insults him first by calling him barbaric and uncivilized and a foreign tongue, which Conan isn't taken lightly to. And even at his young age, he always had the face forward attitude towards anyone that was addressing him. And Conan's hand is still on her thigh. And while this guy is addressing him and says, "Where's your hand?" He goes, the three of us know where my hand is. And the guy goes to attack Conan. Conan strikes out quickly and takes him out. And then the fight ensues with what's his name? The Zamoran. Kegel is his name, and Conan takes him out. And he's got a couple other guys with him. But the Zamoran's on the ground. He draws his blade. He's going to cut Conan. And Conan kicks the blade out of his hand. And then all of a sudden the woman turns on him, which catches Conan completely by surprise. This is still part of his learning about you can't trust anyone, not even the woman that was just seducing you. And one of Kegel's guards with him attack Conan. Misses up. Conan ducks a blow. The guy's sword gets stuck in the table. And a great panel here of Conan just breaking the guy's wrist and leaving it useless. By this time, Kegel is getting back up. And the woman that was just seducing him is now saying, "Kill him, slay him." And Conan is all of a sudden fierce. He just can't believe what he just heard. This woman that was plying him with wine and sweet words and her body. And all of a sudden, she's calling out for his death. So Conan draws his sword. He's got his steel out. He's ready to fight. And the battle is engaged. And now one guy comes in too cocky to sweep at Conan. Conan performs a move, which the guy thinks when Conan comes back with the blade, he's going for the legs. But instead, Conan puts the sword straight through the guy's skull, right through his mouth and out the back of his head. And that's one guy down and out. So we got a couple other guys that are approaching Conan. They're going to attack him all at once. And someone in the bar yells up Bel, name of Bel, which is the name of the god of thieves. And Conan knows he has an ally there. And the guards are like, who spoke? Conan takes out a second guy, leaves him dead. And the guy that helped him starts heading for the door. Taking out one of the guys as well, and he's gone. Conan uses this time to jump out a window and escape. And he's clear of them for the night. And you got to wonder if they're coming back in the story at some point. Bet they are. But regardless, Conan escapes through the window. They go to follow him. Conan has already used his great strength and the speed of which he was running to jump up and grab an overhang and get onto the roof of a building. So they don't see him up there. Conan's surveying them up here. And Conan can hear voices across another rooftop. And he stealthily makes his way there to listen in. And what he hears is a plan of these two thieves. They're going to steal the Eye of Erlik, which is supposedly in the wrong hands of someone they don't want it in. They're going to steal the amulet, and it says it belongs to Archon, their leader, and they're going to steal it back. And it's in the possession of a mage called Hizar-Zul. So he's a pretty feared mage. No thief that's gone there has ever come back out of his abode. And this is where we first meet Esperana, who you would see with Conan in quite a few of the pulp novels. And also, she would come into play in the later issues of Conan the Barbarian. Roy Thomas would bring her back. And she has quite a few things tragic happen to her in that. A great character, a fine character. And another one that just has her own voice and is not intimidated by Conan's presence at all. It just makes Conan like her all the more for it. But Conan's listening. He hears of when they're going to plan it. And Esperana's talking about doing it in 2 nights' time, going to this mage's house and stealing the Eye of Erlik. And Conan's like, well, better, the rewards aren't split between 2 thieves, but one better thief, a Sumerian thief. And he's going to go there and he's going to steal this amulet for himself. But as he makes away, he doesn't hear the rest of the conversation, that there is some kind of parade going on that night. So they change the plans to the next night. So they're going to be there the same night that Conan the Barbarian's going to be there. All right. So again, just beautifully. I mean, look at the way this is drawn by John Buscema. Just gorgeous, gorgeous art. Esperana looks amazing. The other thief looks great. He looks wizened with years. And Conan is just young and out to make a name for himself. And then we get to chapter 2, at the keep of Hizar-Zul. Now, the streets are busy in Erengen and going through the mall. And Conan is just surveying the lay of the land. He's got other thieves that are older there telling him to go steal something honestly because they don't want the competition. And Conan isn't planning on stealing there. He's just scoping out this mage's house to see what he may have to do. Because this is just a few... not long after the Tower of the Elephant, when Conan had went in there and met Yaga. So night comes and Conan goes into this wizard's keep. So he gets up there, he's on the wall, he's listening for animals, because the last time he stole over a wall, he ran into beasts that he had to slay. All right, and he's got a rope with him, and the rope is something he remembers because he got it from, I believe the guy's name was Tarascus, I'm trying to remember now, Taurus. He was a Nemedian, and that's the guy who died all the way back in issue number 4 of Conan the Barbarian when they were breaking into the tower. The Tower of Yara. I said Yaga, I believe it's Yara. And old man brain having problems. So he's in, and he gets through, and he can't figure out, it's, you know, he thinks it's just an off night. He's not being watched. He breaks in, and he's inside. Now, once inside, Conan hears another thief mucking about. And just come to find out, it's the guy in the bar that helped him out. So he was quiet. He was keeping his ears out. He heard that follow the footsteps, and then he hears another couple sets of footsteps following that guy. And what Conan sees raises the hairs on the back of his neck and puts his soul at unease, because there's 3 guards that are following Ajinder, and those 3 guards, they have a look about them as if they're drugged. So Conan is trying to figure out what's going on with that. As when they pass by, Conan sneaks out, and he's on his way to steal, and he's trying to convince himself, it's not my business. The Easterner's only a rival thief. I don't need to help him. Well, he's keeping those 3 guards busy. It'll be much easier for me to go in and steal what I need to steal. But Conan remembers that this is the guy that voiced up and helped him in the bar. So he feels a debt to him. And so Conan says the same thing the guy said to him, up Bell, name of Bell, and the guy knows, to answer it, call back, and he gets help. Now Conan arrives, slays one of the guards right away, severs his neck almost in half. And now that he's got help, he says, whoever you are, my friend, Ajinder of Iranistan has never had a boon so quickly returned, and he's thankful. So he puts his sword through a guy's face, and then Conan finishes the other guard by hacking off his neck. And all 3 of the guards are now laying there dead. Conan's like, look, whatever you were here for and I'm here for, we better do it quick. We made a lot of noise. There's no way it went unheard. And the guy wants to introduce himself, Well, and he says, well, we seem to have left all 3 with half a neck apiece and no jugular at all. I'm glad I helped you last night, friend. I've told you my name and yours. And he says, I'm Conan, a Cimmerian. He goes, oh, Cimmerian, huh? They grow them big up there. And this Ajinder, he's talking to Conan like a friend. He's got a wound on his leg. He's, the bastard pinked me, it seems. And he bends down to get a bandage from one of the dead guards. And then tries to kill Conan himself, because he knows Conan is there for the same thing he is. And he slips on some of the blood that's on the floor and misses Conan. And Conan's like, a friendship is swiftly broached, has gained a friend. And Conan's now on guard. So this Ajinder guy, he's trying to convince Conan to join with him. And Conan's like, well, you just tried to stab me in the back immediately. There's no way I can trust you. I'm going to take this amulet. And the guy's like, no, I need it for my king. And Conan's like, well, I'm going to steal it. And the guy's like, yes, but I'm on a royal mission and I'm watched. I have to have this or else. And he says, thus, and then he attacks Conan again. Conan grabs him by the wrist, throws him down, and the guy hits the floor in the wall. But where he hits the wall triggers this little door, and these 2 asps come out, and they bite his face about, half a dozen times. He's got a bunch of bite marks on him. So he's full of poison and going to die. But before he dies, he grabs both the snakes and tosses them at Conan. Conan, of course, slices them in half as they're flying through the air at him. And Ajinder says, well, damn. And, you don't dislike this Ajinder guy. He's just out doing what he's been hired to do as well. He doesn't necessarily want to fight Conan, or he doesn't wish him dead. Conan is now just someone else that's in his way of completing this mission that he's been sent upon by his king. Conan is just an obstacle. As this guy's just an obstacle to Conan. You can see these 2 being friends in a different situation if they weren't already set apart from another. So this guy's sweating it out. The poison's hitting him and he's dying. He's like, hear me, my employer is Kobad Shan, king of Iranistan. And he goes, he will pay you much for what you seek, lad. Don't be foolish, and don't deal with a common errand and fence. And Conan's like, well, he sent you on a fool mission far from home, and now you're dying. We'll see who I fence it to once I have it. And Conan sets back out. He finds the room where it is, and as he was dying, Erringen had told him what the gem looks like. It's like a little tiny sword that hangs on a pendant. But when Conan broaches the green room where Erringen sent him, Ajinder sent him, he sees in there Isparana and and Karamek, who are already stealing the pendant that Conan's there to steal. And Conan's like, I have no wish to slay anyone else tonight. Just give me the jewel. I'll be on my way, and you guys have your lives. He goes, I'm not looking to kill anyone. Esperana has the pendant in her grasp, and Carmack, or did I just say his name right? And Karamek tells her to take off through the hidden hallway, and she leaves and bars that exit. And Karamek stays to fight Conan. Not very successfully, as Conan kills him fairly quickly, as you'll see in this page. And then that's one down, and Karamek is now dead, and Conan's left to hunt Esperana to get the jewel that he wants, which is turning out to be more of a pain in the ass than anything. But he falls into a trap in the floor. So now Conan's stuck. His legs are trapped, and it was a trap that was set specifically for thieves. And all of a sudden, he is at the mercy of Hizarzul, who arrives. And he makes Conan a bargain. He says Conan has cost him a lot this night by slaying his guards, but the woman from Zambula has cost him more, and he needs that pendant back. And he shows Conan what it is, and Conan's in no position now to do anything but agree to work for him. But he blows Black Lotus in Conan's face, and Conan quickly succumbs and is coming back, and Conan's like, I'm Conan the Cimmerian. You use the powder of the Black Lotus upon me. Why then am I still alive? And this is where the part of this guy being a mage really comes into play. He goes, because I want you to be. Otherwise, it would have killed you in 2 minutes' time. So Conan's still trapped like a wolf in a snare, and he has Conan look in a mirror. When Conan looks in the mirror, he sees a soul trapped in there, right here. And it's Conan's soul. So after he drugged Conan, he drew Conan's soul out. It's in the mirror. Now it's in possession of Hizarzul. And Hizarzul says, you have 1 month to bring this pendant back to me. If you don't, I smash the mirror. And your soul's gone forever. And you're my zombie slave like those guards are. And Conan has no choice. And Conan can't slay him because, as Hizarzul tells Conan, I am the only one that can remove your soul from this mirror. Whether that's true or not, Conan doesn't know, but you can't take a chance when you're no longer in possession of your soul. And Conan tells him what he needs, and Conan is let out by Hizarzul's guards, and he sees the Jinder there, his face swollen and purple and dead from the ass biting him. He takes a dagger and something else for the journey from him, and he's making his way out. And on the final page here, Hizarzul speaks through these guards that have no soul, because Conan asks them, would you like me to free you from being enslaved with the gift of death? And one of them says, to live soulless is to be dead while alive, Cimmerian. To die without a soul is worse. And but Conan, when they're talking, it's not a guard's voice. It's actually Hizarzul's voice, and he's giving Conan a final warning of what will happen if he doesn't do exactly what he's tasked Conan to do. And then we get next at the Oasis of Death. So Conan is going to be heading out. He's going to be in the desert, and we will cover that chapter next week. That is part 103 of Conan and the Sorcerer, as adapted by Roy Thomas. Really fun issue. It stuck right to the book, which is super enjoyable for me. To see the words of Andrew Offutt come alive through the fantastic art of John Buscema and Rudy Nebres on the inks was a great experience for me. Plus, you had this fantastic Earl Norem cover, which is just a beauty. Anything Earl Norem did then was just amazing. But a great first part. And can't wait to read, because I haven't read this adaptation before. So I'm going to wait and read the other one next Friday night so I can do the Savage Saturday review for that next week. And just a complete joy What a fantastic adaptation. And like I said, Roy Thomas, he doesn't mess with what doesn't need to be messed with. If this was the author's vision and he's adapting that author, he's leaving as much of that vision intact as he can and only changing what needs to be changed either to fit continuity or to adapt it to the written page. Overall, A++ on everything all around. Great cliffhanger ending. Great adaptation, great story, great art, great inks. Absolutely fantastic all around. A++, guys. But that's it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Savage Saturday Comic Review. And until next time, keep it casual.